middle class, which is 50% of the US, pays about 27% of their paychecks to taxes. Then they fork out even more cash to keep escaping the lower class neighborhoods of policy failure. So we move farther away, pay higher rent and mortgages, and pump higher gas, pay higher insurance, just to avoid crime and moral decay. And when crime rises, it's more policing, higher salaries to keep those officers from quitting, and bigger public budgets. And where does that cash come from? The same working families already being quietly leached off of. Healthcare exposes a lot of this bullshit. Medicaid reimburses hospitals below cost, so the providers quietly shove those losses onto private insurance. So that jacks up the premiums, it shrinks the networks, and it turns pregnancies and emergencies into five-figure bills for middle-class families, while with Medicaid, that pay nothing at the point of the care, their population just grows for free. ERs are legally forced to treat everyone, which crams uncompensated care into already strained hospitals. When tons of patients show up with advanced, unmanaged diseases or a single mom waiting last minute to go to the OBGYN, the system slows down and those costs get laundered upward through higher premiums, higher deductibles, and higher taxes paid by the same people funding it. When chaos breeds in lower class neighborhoods that's driven by traits like low conscientiousness, low IQ, low impulsivity, and chaotic temperament, that impact doesn't stay put in their neighborhoods. These patterns infect nice, stable areas, straining the healthcare and straining the school systems. In classrooms, a handful of bad-mannered, disrupted students can hijack the attention and resources from the teachers, which is basically a perfect analogy of what's happening at a macro level. The system is forced to focus on the bad behaviors while the capable and motivated get ignored. Teachers then want to quit because all their time now is spent telling these kids to sit down, be quiet. They've been turned into social workers and behavioral managers and second parents without authority or backup from the real ones. Districts will raise the pay to keep the teachers from leaving. That cost falls back on the taxpayer again. A lot of these children develop in overstressed households, often single moms on TANF, SNAP, Medicaid, and government housing. And these kids are glued to iPads all day while the mom doom scrolls on her phone. The kid goes to bed whenever, and then she feeds them overprocessed sugar slop straight from the EBT card. Rarely they experience any consistent interaction or meaningful social guidance because their parent has no friends, which then correlates with language delays, attention problems, emotional deregulation, and behavioral issues that schools are forced to inherit. Many of these kids are labeled with special diagnoses like ADHD or autism, but the real driver is neglect of structure and no interaction and a terrible diet and not going to bed on time. By the time they reach school, the system is left with the consequences of this shitty environment, while the families rely on these public programs that inadvertently subsidize these developmental gaps. Meanwhile, responsible working couples delay having any kids because they want a perfect timed financial margin, which pushes pregnancies into their late 30s and early 40s, which increases medical risk and costs, while the population relying on public systems grows even faster than the population funding it. This isn't about hating the poor or immigrants or anyone else. It's about a system that rewards dysfunction and punishes the responsible people and then shames those people that point out the imbalances with name calling like racist or classist. The middle class is just furious because it's being asked to carry a system that refuses to acknowledge incentives and limits. We're literally paying for our downfall.